My name is Ryan. I'm here with Swirls Lab, which is the developer arm of Hedera, and I am a developer relations. I specifically work in education. My training is as an educator. Whoop, let's go to the next one. And I've been working in the space for the last 5 years and try to make Web3 more accessible and fun for people coming into it, because it can be confusing. So let's dig in. So, and as part of that, we have $30,000 in bounties as part of the Biddle Week here. So if you want to learn more about that, stick around to the end of this presentation. It's not too long, another 18 more minutes, and we'll be digging into a bit of that, and we can talk more afterwards as well. So it'd be good to talk to you about it. So what's Hedera anyway? So it is an open source, leaderless, proof of stake network that powers the next generation of the web. And it offers fast, cost-effective services for developers like you who are sitting here watching this. So thanks for being here. Things started out with Bitcoin, as I'm sure you know, moved into Ethereum, and then Hedera is a layer 1 where it is architected from the ground up for new and existing applications running at scale. So it's a little bit different. It is EVM compatible, and we'll dig into that. So for folks who have been working in that space, like here at ETHDenver, it's something great to look at. So compared to previous iterations of the internet, Web3 has the ability to have fair and trusted results at scale while no single party can alter or control. So if we look at the first evolution of that, then it is explained through the tokens, where the value is with digital currency, then moving outwards into the ledgers. So we've got identification, ownership of things, land, devices, stock shares, ownership, music, and then into there in contracts, like smart contracts. So that is even more in depth and more consensus along the lines. And then into markets. So yeah, there's fair matching, settlement of many contract participants. This isn't anything that if you were working as a developer on Ethereum, that would be unfamiliar, but some good for people who maybe are less familiar with that. So the problem with that sort of approach is it does, depending on the chain, use enormous amounts of energy, low processing speeds, high unpredictable processing costs, depending on the cost of token time, security and gas, of course, security vulnerabilities, and centralization transparency concerns. So how we approach that is we have brought into it a high performance, 10,000 TPS on our chain, finality in seconds, and it's, like I was saying, EVM compatible. One of the nice things about it too, we have really great node operations and carbon negative infrastructure. So if you are looking to make sure that your work is carbon negative, then Hedera is a great project to look at. And again, welcome to come afterwards, come talk, and I can tell you more about it. All right, so what makes it different? And it is a different layer 1. And so instead of being a blockchain where it's like a tree and it's pruned off the limbs, it is Hashgraph is a distributed ledger, and every node knows what every other node knows. So we have something on the protocol called gossip about gossip, and that makes it so the information can move quickly and the transaction processing speed is high. So Hedera does things a little bit differently. So it also makes it so it requires less electricity to run to reach consensus. And part of that, well, Alex here in the corner, he's part of our adventure here. So yes, so the Hedera Governing Council. So one of the things that's different about Hedera is the Governing Council exists. And so we have 39 Governing Council members. Currently there's 31, and each one of them runs a node, and that's how consensus comes. We are moving into community nodes in the future. There's no specific date for that at this point, but it will be part of the next phase of growth of the network. So as I was saying, it's up to 39 of them, and it's very diverse across universities, nonprofits, and 6 different continents, so just not Antarctica, not yet anyway. And they each have a 3-year maximum term with up to 2 consecutive terms. And we have different committees, membership, technical steering, product, treasury management, coin economics. So that's where tokenomics would be, legal, regulatory, and marketing. My work is with Swirls Labs, which reports to the Marcom committee, which is under marketing there. So yeah. It's a pretty healthy network. We've got over 20,000 developers working on it, over 100 applications on mainnet since we did open access in 2019, and over 1,000 transactions processed each second. So it's pretty quick, and I was saying low energy, so it's the most used public DLT, and something that you can really rely on when you're working on a network and looking for something a bit different, low energy, and you want something stable. As I mentioned with the green thing, so as you can see in the graph here, it uses 1,000 times less energy than Visa per transaction. So if you're going to swipe your Visa, this is used 1,000 times less to process that transaction, and it's faster too. So there's a big plus there. So yeah, I know for me, that's part of the reason why I work on this blockchain, is because I really do want to make a difference in the world. Yeah, so this is something that was really important to me. So maybe that's something that's important to you too. So let's see, just as a check-in here, as a developer, so those in the audience here, are unpredictable fees something that you've been dealing with? So if you just like raise your hand, so that's something that's come up for you. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's just a little bit of interaction here. Yeah, so the one thing that's different with the way Hedera does that, because that is common, right? It's our token, the H bar, is associated with the USD. So the fees are denominated in USD, and it aims to discourage US tax by imposing a financial barrier. And so it's a stable coin essentially. So we have the possibility that when you're trying to create a project and how much it's going to cost to run the processing for it, you're going to be able to like pitch it to somebody, and what it costs now is what it'll be costing later because the fee is the same. So yeah, which is really nice. So that's why enterprise is one of the areas that we focus on as well, but not limited to that at all. Definitely open and want to have community involvement, which brings us to Alex and Sporky here. So that's the spork whale. I added the spork in, but had this little whale and the astronaut around at home too. So yeah, so we really want to bring the Ethereum community into Hedera, hence EVM compatibility, and bring a lot of community projects. So you'll be wondering, how does that exactly work? So we are EVM equivalent in some ways and EVM compatible in some other ways. So I'll tell you about that here. So in some ways that you can use end users, which is often the people who I like to appeal to, because I want to make sure that everybody can work in Web3 as much as possible. And that's important to developers too. So they've got the same tools. So they can use MetaMask wallets. We have a wallet snap for that. So that's in there. The dApps can be ported over to Hedera if you're working on an EVM. We have our community created wallet connect here. That was really inspiring to see that come together from the community, and I was really proud to watch and be involved. I wasn't just developer relations education guy, so I was just kind of like watching from the sidelines, but very cool to see. I used to work in community more, and it was very nice to see the community coming together on this. So the Saints, we've got the wallet snap there, so you get access to 30 million active users on MetaMask already, and it removes friction for those users who are coming in from that space as well. And yeah, it can really empower developers to work with MetaMask and beyond. So you can use Hedera's properties within using MetaMask as the root of it. So we also have JSON RPC Relay and have 4 different ones, which I'll show in the next slide here. And so this is EVM compatibility rather than equivalence. And so the equivalence is something we're working to in the longer term. But with right now, we've got the RPC Relay. So we've got 4 different community hosted JSON RPC relays, which is great. It's configured to use Shanghai hard fork on the last mainnet release. So that's really great if you want to port something over from EVM, and you won't be starting from scratch, essentially. It's great. Developer tools, yeah. Again, so your workflows, the things that you need to do in your everyday, you don't have to start from scratch. So as I was saying here, so we've got OpenZeppelin. You can use your MetaMask wallet. Token standards, ERC20 and ERC721 are available. And you can use Hashcan and Sourceify to do your smart contract verification. And Hard Hat and Foundry are available. In fact, Foundry is available. We've got blogs already to go, tutorials on these topics right here. So you're able to just jump right in and do things to make things easier for yourself, because nobody wants to come to a new ecosystem and be like starting from nothing. It's hard, so we want to make it easy for you. So what exactly does that look like? So just as a quick example, you just upload your files to Hashscan here, and it just verifies them. So that's just your JSON and your SOL files. That's it. So pretty simple, nice to see, and yeah. All right, oop, now it's playing it over again. So part of what makes Hedera different than Ethereum and other networks is the way that the network is actually set up. So Alex here is just exploring a node. I live in a place that's got a lot of snow. There's about this much right now. And so that's why the pictures are in snow. But there's a little node on the network from the wood pile. And so within Hedera, we have consensus, which, as I was saying, it's different. It's not a blockchain, it's a DLT, so distributed ledger technology, which blockchains are as well, but this is a bit different. So we've got consensus, and within that, so we've got the Hedera consensus service, the token service, and the smart contract service. So those pieces come together to send the transactions to mainnet. There's more on this. Oh, hey. To be able to come together on mainnet and bring everything to make it simpler for people. There's a lot of education on this that's really been coming together in the past bit. We've got a education and training thing that I've been working on for the past year, and Patches here is in the videos. So yeah, hi to him, and he'll be right there in the videos to say hello too. So yeah, that's great. So we have the token service saying it makes tokenization simple. It's all built in. The docs are there. Everything's there for you, so you're not going to be lost. You can reach out and get help when you need it. We want to make things with as little friction as possible for people, because that's really when somebody is joining, friction is the thing that gets in the way, right? So if you've been in a place before, you're trying something new, and one of the things like that, I once tried to join my local community radio, and nobody ever replied to me, to my email. And so I never joined them, because it feels like they're not interested. So yeah, we want to make things easy for you. So if you're reaching out, I've got my contact information here too if you get stuck. So come talk to me afterwards if you're interested too. Yeah, so we've got the token service, so it can tokenize natively right on there. The smart contracts, it's built on Solidity. But the nice thing too, as was on the last slide there, you can do it without having to use smart contracts if you aren't a Solidity dev, and that's okay. So you can start from there and expand. So if you're coming from more of a Web 2 space, you can do that on Hedera. So is my cursor there? It is, okay. So one of the things I really like about it too is fair transaction ordering. So because the consensus is different, you can't do front running on Hedera. You're able to know that the transactions go in what order they come in, because all the nodes are comparing to what all the other nodes know. So you're going to know exactly what happened at what time. So they all match their timestamps. So within consensus, it's just easier. So that's something that's really nice, that you can have confidence in when things are actually on chain. So I'm a big fan of that. And then the consensus service itself. So yeah, it's got 10,000 transactions per second per shard, and guaranteed order, as I was just saying, and it integrates into Hyperledger Fabric to create new architecture. So there's a lot possible, and yeah, we've got to keep moving here because we've got to make sure to get to the bounties bit, because I promised you there's over $30,000, well, 30,000, and then some from us. So I want to make sure you can see that part too. So some use cases on Hedera. Whew, okay, 20 minutes is short. All right. So Avery Dennison, so this is one of my favorite ones. What I really like about it is for people who really just want to be able to track where their food's connected from and how the distribution has impacted on the environment, then they can use an app like this, and it tracks all the way through the whole supply chain to know how much carbon has been used. So it's a really wonderful, beautiful thing, and I love that Web3 can be used for these sorts of use cases. So I'm a big fan of this. They don't just do stickers, but the way that they track Avery Dennison, it's very cool. I know them from stickers originally. So TuneFM, so they use tokenization, and they have their own token on the Jam token using the Hedera token service. So that's built on top as well. So there is a lot possible with the different services that are built in with Hedera, and wonderful to see that. And oh, there's the 5-minute warning. All right. We have SushiSwap, which is the largest DEX on Hedera. And so there's a lot possible in there. If you want to do a DEX and build in that kind of space, you can use the token service and consensus service for that. And So here at Core, I've only seen it red, so I hope I'm saying that right. But they were tracking shortages of drugs. So the shortages like the lack of transparency in the supply chain. So this makes an auditable trail of events in near real time for track and trace capability without needing a smart contract. So that's pretty cool. These kind of things can be developed too on Hedera, and we've got some other great ones like Timeless here. So they're tracking carbon and having an auditable way to do that. So similar to what Atman is doing, but just more in a different way. Because there's different ways you can track carbon in different networks, of course. So connecting to the network. So there's a QR code on the screen here. There's probably not enough time to scan it, so it's just up on the screen for you. But you can get a testnet account, and we actually now have a faucet as well. So you can come on, you can try out Hedera with the faucet anonymously, like one would expect in a Web3 space. And yeah, so you can come on here, create a testnet account, and that's part. If you're going through our learning program, then you can get a testnet account through that as well. Or you can do it through the back end, like so, with your env file. Leave that for a second so you can read that. So that's an option as well. Then here's our faucet. And you can see Alex in the corner is taking a look at that, because this is something that we've recently got online and I think is pretty great. So it's nice to see that we're in that space. So you can come in and join and work in the way that you're familiar with. So what's next? You can learn more, so you can get started with Hedera. It's hashgraphdev.com. That is the place in the ecosystem where you can really learn. You can get a certification on Hedera as a developer, which is pretty cool. And from there, you can build a lot more. So that brings us to bounties. So as sponsors, oh, he's going crazy. As sponsors, we're thrilled to be part of this vibrant community. Hedera is a sustainable and open source layer 1 network that offers fast, cost-effective services for developers like you. So you can build scalable dApps using Hedera's tech, participate in our $30,000 bounty program. So there's 3 different levels. Beginners, you get started with Web3. So that's essentially, you just build something on Hedera using one of the 3 services. Experience, we're solving some problems in DeFi. And there's more on this on the next slide. So you don't feel like you have to know everything now, and you can come talk to us after. And we're on the Discord channel too. So don't feel like you have to know everything now, because that would be a lot to expect of people just watching a 20-minute presentation. And then integrations, find gaps, and business opportunities. So there's 10,000 there. So that's like, we've got some different possibilities in there. Whoop. Like you can see here. So we have this bounty here, just a quick overview. So yeah, you can build something on Stablecoin Studio or on the Guardian. And so like, this is more of an early stage startup kind of category. And then we've got some oracles in here as well. More of this is on the DevFolio site, the link's here. But yeah, this will be on Discord as well. So don't feel like you have to write down a URL. But this is the main DevFolio at the bottom here. Then you just search for Hedera or click on it on the left side. So that's there for you. So, okay. So that brings me to the end. So I got to wrap up. So I guess this works out well, because it says right there, 1 minute, please wrap up. So I guess with that, that's my time. Is there any quick questions before I head off the stage? And maybe not. Maybe they're afterwards. That's okay too. I'll be around. So yeah, I guess that's it from me. And yeah, thanks for having me. Okay.